been, I think it's been a hot minute or two since we played, a grand total of, 6 freaking months? But welcome, one and all, to Tomb of the Abomination, a Tomb of Annihilation homebrew game for the 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your Dungeon Master, no longer the Storyteller. I am the Dungeon Master, Develop. We have our players. Cream is going to be playing Tertra, the pink kobold femboy. Then we have Icy is going to be playing Rolder, the other cute pink kobold femboy. Then we have Nicola, who is playing Bucket of Bolts, or is she? We'll get to that in a minute. We then have Sephi, who is going to be playing Tarth, the lizard folk blood hunter. And last but not least, my beautiful, beautiful wife, Ajali, who is playing Lucy, also the kobold. Eventually, we will get an kobold party, but for now, it is just a 3-to-5 ratio. When last we left off, because it has been a while, the survivors of the voyage of the Brazen Pegasus recently found themselves in the very, very uncharted country of Chult. In the port city of Port Nyanzaru, the center of, not so much industry, but basically the center of the country, they made a couple. They were basically working on recuperating from the very strenuous journey, and they split off into various groups. Bucket of Bolts was off doing some research in the local libraries for their own various personal interests. And on the way, they crossed paths with one of the trade princes, the rulers of the city, an individual by the name of Wakanga. Wakanga was fascinated by a construct that seemed to think for themselves. But rather than try to buy Bucket outright, they wanted Bucket's assistance in procuring another construct somewhere deep in the jungle. However, that was more of a later situation. In the immediate future, however, he really wanted Bucket to protect and keep an eye on Lucy, an adorable little kobold girl who sort of latched herself onto the trade prince and wasn't letting go for a while. The moment you stepped outside, you bumped into two other kobolds, Tertra and Rolder, two people who, unbeknownst to Bucket, have a patron who is another trade prince, a woman by the name of Queothe, who has been a bit curious about the survivors of the Brazen Pegasus and would like to learn a little more information about this group of people. While you two were trying to make your introductions and turn on the charm, this large, creepy lizard folk dude showed up. There was a bit of bad touch vibes going on. You all kind of made your way into the city proper when the group as a whole were jumped by pirates. Pirates who Bucket recognized from her previous voyage on the Brazen Pegasus. However, you completely destroyed these guys. Some of them did survive, including the first mate, a woman by the name of Mad Kalila. So, as you guys were recovering from a fairly chaotic and stressful encounter, several things happened at once. Tarth, the large scary lizard folk person, seemed to think it was a really good idea to start eating the dead body, if indeed he was dead at the time, of one of your enemies over here. And as this was going on, some poor random passerby was walking down the street when he saw this going on, saw the bodies and everything and all you guys, and started screaming for the guards and running away. I did, however, forget one small detail. The large construct, Bucket of Bolts, appears to have been damaged. He slumped down, and the head came off to reveal a small squirrel, who is now frantically trying to repair Bucket. That is pretty much the way things are at the moment. So I think, because we are technically in the middle of a combat situation, I am going to select you all, and I think it is only fair, if I remember how initiative works, that everybody roll initiative as soon as I add you to the turn order. There we go. So Bucket, and there we go. Oh, we all have our stuff from last time round, so if you want to roll again, that works. Or are you okay with the initiative you had last time round?
I'm good.
Okay. So in that case, I would say Rolder with your 19. That's basically the situation at the moment. You can hear the guards coming. They're a bit of a ways yet. The person you were basically trying to pally up to is currently apparently a container for a squirrel who is looking a bit panicked and is trying to repair themselves. The other weirdo is eating a corpse. You were told to kind of not draw too much attention to yourself, or at least that was the impression you got from your patron. What would you like to do? I'm sorry, Icy. The initiative really put you on the spot there.
I could have changed it, but
do you want to see if... Yeah, go on.
Is there any place to hide?
You and your partner have been living in the city for a while. You do know that, you don't know the side streets completely like the back of your hand, at least here in the upper city. But there are several places you could try and dash to that are outside the walls. You know the guards never really travel there. So your main option would be probably to try and head south somewhere. You could perhaps try and head back to the temple to see your patron, but that would be a little bit high profile. The third option would be to mainly head to the tavern, but that is again deeper into the city where the guards are.
I think what Rolder's gonna do is tap his mate on the shoulder and signal for the two of them to leave while the leaving's good.
Okay.
Agree.
So next up is going to be Eduardo's dead, Cutter is dead, Mad Kalila is out. So Tertra, it is now your turn. What are you gonna do? Are you guys just basically going to try and lead the rest of the group away, Are you going to try and pick up the squirrel? Are you going to try and help the squirrel repair its suit of armor? What are you going to do? Hello.
I thought I saw I was gonna follow you.
Oh, you're just So you're just following Rolder's lead. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's absolutely fine. Okay then. So Bucket, or should that be Peanut? The two pink kobolds look like they're trying to make a break for it down south. Towards, well, you're not too sure the layout of the city yet. What would you like to do?
Peanut would very much like to try and fix Bucket.
Okay then. Give me a I would say it's either an intelligence or a dexterity. Add your proficiency. I would say, given the fact that you know this suit inside and out, literally, I will give you advantage on that check.
Let's see. We'll go with intelligence because my dexterity as a squirrel is not that great. I'm playing this on an iPad, so bear with me.
Not a problem.
Roll a d20 and add
13.
So 17.
17. No, yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. You basically are like ferreting around inside. You see basically one of the main connectors had come loose, and as you connect it, there's a little bit of a static shock, but the lights start to flicker back on, and the cooling system starts to kick back in, and your suit restarts. In the next round, you will be able to start moving. So, Tarth.
Frantically gathers everything together, closes the hatches, and just started binding everything up.
So, Tarth.
Tarth will... I'd say he's torn a few strips to me. He wipes his mouth to clean up a little. That'll do for now.
Give me an intelligence check, if you would be so kind. 18, that's very, very good. So, you've been to a few different, cities in your time, in between, your time in the wilds and all that. And while the law of the jungle and the law of, civilization are very different, you're starting to think, even though these guys were the aggressors, and they did absolutely attack you and you were defending yourself, being found devouring a corpse in the middle of a quote-unquote maybe civilized city might not be the best look. So evading uncomfortable questions might be advisable. So, are you going to return to the group, or are you? What else? What would you like to do?
Can you make sure while he's been eating, he's made sure to make it look like he's just bitten the guy rather than actually devoured part of him?
Roll me a d10. 1 to 5 is very good. 6 to 10 is very bad. Okay. I will say this. The streets of Port Nyanzaru are very, very clean and very humid, mainly because of the constant or near constant rainfall. An example of which has just started to fall now. So any blood that was on you is possibly going to be gone in the next round. So that might help your story a little bit if you are stopped. Next up, Lucy. What would you like to do? You are currently over here. The squirrel looks like it's fixed its machine. And the two pink kobolds look like they're about to, you know, head south. What would you like to do? And you are still muted, by the way, my love.
I heard her.
I can hear
Same
her.
Oh.
It sounded like she was going to chase after the kobolds.
Oh, I can't hear at all. Yeah, on my Discord, it looks like she's muted, and there's a big red
Did you
line.
accidentally deafen
Oh,
her
I've-
on
If
your
you
end?
happen to mute her on your end because
Yes.
you can hear her from the other room.
Oh no, yes, I see. I have. How do I unmute someone? There we go. Okay, yes, you can talk now, my love.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I'll climb up onto the bucket and I'll go where everyone else is going.
Okay. Alright, that works. So, next up is going to be, I would say from this point on, we're getting into a chase scene. I'm just going to say, everybody in the group, give me a group dexterity check, if you would be so kind. So, everyone give me a dexterity. Ooh. I'd say Lucy with advantage since you're holding on to the big clunky boy.
That's -1, by the way.
-1. Okay, okay. Right. Okay. So, I would say that Lucy, you do tend to have a little bit of difficulty holding on to Bucket as they are stomping along. But the rest of you are able to basically sort of keep pace as you are making your way down the various side streets. And let's cut to the city map real quick and let's see where you are. So I would say you're basically cutting down this main street here. Let's see. As you get to the main road, give me a stealth check if you would be so kind. And I'm going to have it as read that Tarth is keeping pace and following you guys, unless you're trying to get rid of this guy. So that's a stealth from Lucy.
Hang on a sec, I accidentally closed Roll20 because I hate iPads.
I completely understand. So, Tarth, nice and stealthy there. Fortunately, there are many people about. The rain is beginning to come down pretty hard at this point. So, it's not a high roll. Oh, did Icy disconnect?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yeah. It looks like you got kicked out. Oh no, I see you there. Cool.
Alright, I'm rolling 2 dice because I have disadvantage on stealth.
Oh.
And -1.
Okay, and so that's your icon. So that was a 7. Okay. Ironically enough, both Lucy and yeah, the tiny little giggling kobold girl and the really big construct both have the same stealth. That kind of makes sense. Can we get, let's see, we got Rolders. Did we get Creams as well?
Yeah. Alright.
Hang on, stealth.
I
Yeah,
should have rolled
stealth.
Oh, stealth roll?
Yes, yes,
Wait,
yes.
Okay, I thought I just heard dexterity. That's all I rolled.
Yeah, because we did the
There you go.
dexterity to see how fast you guys are moving, and now we're trying to figure out how stealthy you are as you're going through the city itself. 14, not too bad. Okay, most of you guys are actually making it through fairly easy, although the big construct and the little kobold girl are drawing a few bits of attention. You do start to hear noises coming from the alley behind you of, horns blaring. And you see one, not many, but you see at least one guard up ahead. What does the group want to try and do to get past this one guard who hasn't seen you yet? But, they might be able to call and have the main gates close. By the way, there we are.
Taff is going to basically try the Bavarian fire drill. He's going to straight just walk past the guard.
You're basically just going to try and walk past without any kind of just not noticing them or anything. Just another day. Okay. Is anyone trying to do anything else? Or are you just going to try and like Blues Brothers casually just stroll past like morning officer, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like everyone to give me a... let's call this a deception. Not bad
I get
rolls.
+2 to this.
Not bad rolls. Okay. Is there any... Let's see, we've had, Tertra, Rolder, Tarth, and... Bucket. Can we get a deception just for the fun of it? Can we get one from Lucy as well, please?
Sorry, what am I rolling for?
Deception.
Okay. Okay.
It's like, we weren't involved in a murder. We didn't burn him. Okay. You all actually, with great ease, managed to slip past the guards. As you start to hear yelling behind you, "Close the gates! Close the gates! There's been a murder!" As the gates begin to close down, a lot of people basically like they're trying to catch a light. They sort of like duck under either those going in or out of the city. Not that many people seem to mind, but this sort of thing does seem to be fairly common in the area. So, it appears for the moment you are outside of the city proper, and you are now in the region of Malar's Throat. Let me just bring this up here. Okay. So, Malar's Throat is the portion of Port Nyanzaru that is in the southernmost area of the city. It's like a giant ravine with buildings and rope bridges that are built into the side, while the main port itself is sort of built up onto these really large mesas. It's almost like Thunder Bluff for people who ever played World of Warcraft or anything. But as you basically come through the south, the path sort of goes down further and further into this big valley, and all the area around here is sort of like built up with various, small shanty houses and, stores and, traders and all other things. Now that things have settled down a little bit, is there anything you would like to do?
I would greatly appreciate it if no one discussed the incident from before.
Oh awakened squirrel controlling a robot thing. Yeah, sure.
I'm sure you can understand that when you're small, people don't tend to take you seriously.
Yeah, we know the feeling.
I thought you might.
You can say, don't think Taff saw nuts.
There's a joke there I want to make so badly. But yeah, no, I don't believe Toth saw Peanut. You saw probably the construct slowly start to get up.
I get the feeling while I was indulging myself, something happened.
Yes, that is something else we should probably discuss. Why did you eat that man?
It's simply what is done.
Chult is a very strange place. You're supposed to be in Belgium.
But, well, they offered themselves as prey. It would have been impolite.
Not to eat them.
Exactly.
Bucket is just gonna turn and look at the two little kobolds for confirmation.
I'm not even going to make you guys roll a history or anything. No, that you don't eat people. The fuck, nanny.
Nani?
Exactly.
Nani desu ka?
I mean, maybe that's the thing where you're from, but certainly not around here or anywhere close by.
I recommend we find somewhere out here to lay low for a little while before we make our way back into the city. I need to make a few calibrations.
I will say, by and large, both Rolder and Tertra, you don't have many contacts in this neck of the woods. Lucy, however, you do know somebody who lives here. There's the nice cat lady. She's been, helping you with your pet collection. You don't know if she might be worth visiting or not.
Okay. Do I have to RP it?
You can tell them, that's fine.
Okay, I'm just sorry. I'm just very low energy today.
So very quiet.
Yes.
Let me...
Sweet. I will bring up the cat lady.
Okay. So, Lucy basically describes, as we said, a friend of hers that lives a little bit further south. Do you want to check them out, or is there anywhere else you want to pursue while you're out here?
I will continue escorting the Lady Lucy before returning. I am not entirely sure what you would like to do. However, I do thank you for helping out in that unfortunate encounter.
So, I would like everybody to give me a perception check, if you'd be so kind. As you're given the description of what you would assume to be a Tabaxi woman, with staff who lives out more on the upper sides of the ravine. That's a 1, Bucket. Let's see. I would say...
Optics are broken. Give her a break.
I know, yeah. Needs a little bit more calibration there.
Hold on a second, guys. Just grinding sounds and sparks flying from the neck stump.
Yes. Rhoda, while this is going on, and literally, Bucket, you see the sparks and everything, because that's just too funny not to make canon. You see, you actually hear, first of all, the sounds of, screaming. Not in... Actually, yeah, you do hear one or two people screaming in fear, but you also hear, like, a roar of annoyance as... up on one of the furthest bridges, a little ways up, you see a Tabaxi outline that seems to be fighting two winged creatures. Winged creatures that, because you're a local, you would know them as terrafolk. Let me just bring this over to here. And yes, no, yes. Let's go with that. So, basically, you look up and you see the woman you believe to be the person that you've been described, fighting off two of these large flapping dinosaur creatures. What would you like to do?
You were talking to Rolder, right?
Rolder, yes.
Well, we just came out of combat, and I'm a squishy bold. What attacks do I have? I have my dagger and my reverse. Okay. Rolda is going to point her out and make his way over to attempt to help.
Okay. It's going to take, I'd say no more than, like 60 seconds or so to get up there, because it's a couple of levels up, but as Rolda points out, you can all see this going on. A couple of people seem to be fleeing from this attack. You see one or two people who are on further lower levels to just sort of glance up and go, ugh, sort of like flip their hoods up and just sort of like duck their heads a bit lower. Almost like this is a regular occurrence, more of a nuisance than anything. The Tabaxi woman, you see her basically doing, various moves with her staff, swiping at one with her claws, and you see the occasional blast of some kind of magic as she seems to be holding them off, at least for the moment. But do you all head up there?
Yes, Tarf is definitely on his way up there.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, I'll follow.
As I say, it doesn't take you long, no more than a minute, but by the time you get up there, you see one more powerful arcane blast is enough to send the two terrafolk packing, leaving just the woman by herself. Ugh. Pests. You took your time?
Apologies.
It is no problem. You have small legs. She looks... I'm so sorry, I see you first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she was... she just looks to the group of you. You have small legs, for the most part. Ah, little one, hello. It is good to see you again. She nods to Lucy. These are friends of yours?
Yes, I was tasked with keeping the Lady Lucy safe for a little excursion.
You have picked a strange city for safe. This is another day in the life, you might say.
So I have discovered.
So who are you?
My name is Bucket. Buckadoo bolts.
And you? She points to the large lizard folk.
Tough of clan Bloodclaw.
Pretentious, but okay. You? And to Rolder and Tertra.
Yes, I am Rhoda.
Mm-hmm.
This is my mate, Tetra.
Mm-hmm. And
We are
Lucy.
the pink and the bold.
Pretentious but cute. I like it. Fair enough. And Lucy, I know.
Call that? It's adorable.
Yeah, Pink and Bold's such a great freaking name. I love the idea for
Basically
these
love
guys.
it.
It's mwah. I'm not even joking. Love the idea. But yeah, she looks over the group and says, "Well, Lucy is more child, but I know that the rest of you seem, well, you at least look like you can handle yourselves. Is this correct?"
So far, that's been correct.
Very much so.
I'm in need of repairs.
I have somewhere that we can go for that. If I give you some shelter and assistance, what will you give me in return?
Hang on, let me check my inventory to see what I have.
I do not need
Candy.
things. I may need candy. You do know she actually does have a bit of a sweet tooth. She's like, holds her hand out.
I'll reach into my pocket and pull out some candy. Some of it's got like hair stuck to it, but the other one looks sort of fine.
She's a Tabaxi, so yeah, she doesn't care. She takes it like a fair trade. Come. And she's going to lead you further up the side of the ravine to basically it's almost on the top level, a small shack that's partially built into the side. I would say over the period of like an hour or two, you you would all get the equivalent of a short rest, not a long rest. You get a short rest. And she's going to explain a couple of things about the area. The Terrafolk have been causing more problems of late. Several people have been taken. They have gone missing. We have sent others after them. Very few have returned. Those that have shown strange things happening at the base of the valley. You all seem to be able to handle yourselves, as you say. So, if I am offering you shelter and accommodation, especially turning my ear away from the shout from the guards earlier, would you be willing to assist me in discovering what is the cause behind this incursion?
Yeah, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours.
I like getting my back scratched. So yes. So, as you guys basically, spend a little bit of time recovering, everyone got their what hit dice that they needed and everything.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, she's going to go into a little bit more detail about what's been going on. Most of the threats that have been, going on in the area have escalated over recent weeks. The foliage has become a lot more overgrown. There's this weird diseased brush and like blighted, flora. It's expanding really quickly, taking over some of the homes at the far end of the ravine. She introduces herself as a druid, and explains that, nature is, her domain, and there's something unnaturally arcane about this that she hasn't been able to put her finger on. She doesn't know for sure if the weird overgrowth and the attacks from the Terror Folk are connected, but they are both very frustrating, and a lot of innocent people are getting hurt because of it, and she would very much appreciate it if you were to help her with fixing the problem. Here we go. In addition to the blight and everything, this is something that both Rhoda and Turcha would know as well. The undead have been a little bit more active recently. The main reason that the city gates exist is to wall off basically the monthly tide of undead that swells through this area. There's that's the main reason most people in the ravine build into the side of the canyon and everything. It's so they can basically barricade themselves in their homes and let the tide of undead just sort of burn itself out. And once it's eventually taken care of, they're able to, get back down and do their thing. That has been picking up lately. I'm not too sure what's going on there. But because the city guard don't actually go outside of the walls, the citizens brigade, the local militia, have been stretched really thin trying to deal with things. There was also a rescue party that went down south yesterday, and nobody has returned from that group. She's also going to offer you, if you are able to investigate further south and find the source of any kind of information in regards to this, she's willing to offer the group a 50 gold reward. Does this seem fair?
Sounds good to me.
You'd also be friends of those of Malar's thought, and if you need a refuge or a place to hide from the city guards or anything, it can be arranged, but you will need to be on your best behavior. We take care of each other up here.
So it would seem. Miss Lucy, would you be okay in this kind of endeavor? Should we not be returning you to your home?
Since Miss Lucy is down the corridor behind me, Lucy's just looking around and she's like, oh, no, yeah, this is fine. I like this. It's an adventure.
Very well.
Yeah. So, you guys, I assume, unless there's anything else you wish to discuss with the Tabaxi woman, who, by the way, she is introduced as Screaming Wind. As you get to know her, you realize she's actually very young. She's a lot younger than what you would assume, given how she's been able to carry herself. Probably 15 to 17 years old. Regular, yellow fur, black spots, green eyes. She also seems to be a little bit shy, at least in terms of being around, a large group of people. She tends to sit with her back to the wall, a little bit furtive for the most part. Her hood remains up for a bunch of the time, but you've seen she's able to handle herself fairly well. Did you have any further questions for her before you headed on out?
Nope.
Okay. In that case, we are going to begin the next leg of our little adventure. She leads you further down. Let's see. Where is this one? Yes. So, as you guys are heading further and further south, you're starting to move further away. I would actually say this one's more appropriate. You're starting to move further away from the wider populace, and you see the buildings as the ravine. Originally, it dipped down. The further and further south you go, you see the ravine begin to curve further up as the walls begin to get closer and closer. Almost like a one big crescent moon curve. And you see the buildings around you begin to get more and more covered with foliage and choked up until eventually you can barely even see the buildings. About 2 weeks ago, all of this was fully populated. We're not too sure, again, what is going on. I have done what I can to remove the growth, but she actually produces a little bit of flame from her hand, but just, shakes it off. It grows back twice as strong. There is some sort of arcane taint going on in this area, but unfortunately those in the main city have no real interest in events down here. We are left to ourselves. And with the terror folk continually attacking us, it has made any real investigation somewhat difficult. So you head further down into the, the depths. It's not so much jungle, but the vines and everything begin to almost tangle up at your feet, and you realize, this is gonna be a bit of a trek. She points further into the underbrush, past the beginning of the houses and everything. Down there is where our rescue group went. I would say the last time anyone was able to come back was about a mile or two down there. If you find anything at all, any kind of answers, please return, let us know. If you are able to find any of our other people, please do try to bring them back. It is dangerous in the jungle. Do you have... I would say that she has provided each of you with a canteen with water. Given the fact that, given the heat and the humidity, water is the number one important resource in the jungle. So, be careful out there. And good luck. I have a valley to take care of. And she turns around and makes her way back into the valley proper. So, as you guys continue to journey into the blanket of trees and brush, you notice like the ground gets a lot more damp, mainly because of the near constant rain. Basically, over the period of the past hour, it rained and stopped and rained once or twice. Everything is very damp, covered in brush and twigs. The humidity, as I say, makes the air a little bit difficult to breathe this far away from the coast. I would assume that anybody who's lived here for a while, all your clothing is fairly light and airy. Bucket, your internal air conditioning unit, is working overtime. You definitely need as much water as you can to stop the radiator from going boom.
And enchanted stones.
Well, then you need plenty of water to drink, so you don't go boom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I am a furry.
Well, aren't
I
we
am
all?
a cold climate squirrel in a jungle.
I think you described half of this group, to be honest, but that's out of the game. But yeah, the one other note, there are two other things of note as you proceed to go deeper down into the jungle proper. The lighting, it's getting darker and darker as the canopy begins to grow. And on average, you can see about no more than, 50, 60 feet ahead of you. The second thing is the smell. There's a smell of must. Sort of like as you've, like when you go by, say, blossom trees, it's that mix of fruit and rot all in one. The very heady smells, and that mixed with humidity makes not a comfortable environment to be in. Very far away from the. So sorry.
So can Taff see if we can identify the pollen from the smell?
Sure. Give me a nature or an investigation, whichever's higher. 4.
I was hoping you were going to say survival, but...
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, well, what's your survival?
+3.
Well, that would be a... So
6.
a 6, so yeah, you have no idea. It's very intoxicating, very strong and pungent, but nothing else you're aware of there. So, as you guys are heading down, I would say, here's my question for Icy and Cream. Your two kobold fellas, how much do they enjoy being in the jungle as opposed to civilization?
I'm a hood rat, I don't care. It's an adventure for me.
Well, that's fair. What about Rolder?
I'd say that while being a pet most of his life, he's had kind of a cushy life, but his, what I say, like year or two out in the wild, kind of got him a bit prepared. And although he prefers the inside, he doesn't mind being outside.
Okay. In that case, I would say that both of you guys, while Screaming Wind did provide everybody with water, she did not think to provide everybody with insect repellent. You two, however, being locals, you would actually have some. Now, you either have enough for just the two of you for the entirety of this trip, or you have enough to share around the entire group for just the first leg. It is your decision whether you declare this to the other party members or not.
Is it similar to the stuff we used on the ship?
Someone's got a good memory. Yes. Yes, it is.
Then can I do my little rocky infusion trick again for the people who don't have repellent?
Well, that's a question actually. Would you like to remind everybody, including people who didn't watch the previous sessions, what this little trick is?
Okay, let me get my features and traits. Features and traits, where is it? So, I have, as an artificer, magical tinkering. Imbue a tiny, non-magical object with a magical property of your choice. Yeah. It emits an odor or a non-verbal sound, static visual effect, or 5-foot radius light, or up to a 6-second long recorded message. So if this thing is smell-based, I can basically make the stones smell like the repellent.
So yeah, this is something that you use to great effect actually, to get rid of the disturbing ants on the boat ride. So yeah, you will be able to do that. How many rocks do you have?
I can affect a maximum of 4 objects at the moment.
Okay, so Tertra and Rolder, they could use their insect repellent, and then you've got enough for yourself, for Tarth and Lucy, and 1 spare should you need it.
Taff,
Okay.
Taff has got very thick scales, so he should be okay.
That is true, they are reptiles with scales.
Yes.
Yeah, but lizard folk have very thick scales.
Bugs are persistent at getting between things.
Hey, if you want to give the DM an opportunity to play, then I'm not going to stop you.
I'm happy to accept that.
Sure. Okay.
So then I shall make a rock for Peanut and a rock for Lucy.
Okay.
Dream, your character is the one that says, "At least it's not raining, aren't you?"
But yeah, so as you
They're
guys,
getting
That's what you
inside.
say, or Torture might get a rolled a hand upside their head. Why'd you say that?
Pocket will lift you up to do it.
so now that the majority of the party have been inoculated against the local insects, let's move over into the jungle proper. As one of the first things that you encounter is this very thick, heady swarm of flies. There's a particular patch of water that you're trying to move around, and the air around it is just saturated with these insects. I would say because of the insect repellent, everybody is going to be fine except our dear Tarth. I would like you to give me a dexterity saving throw, please, Tarth. Beautiful, beautiful. And that was perfect timing from the sound effects as well. You're able to avoid the majority of them. Again, you do see a lot of them just trying to basically, bite in, but your scales are too thick. And any that might have been able to, shall we say, get through the cracks, you're able to dodge them fairly easily. As you're continuing to make your way across this trail, I would say this, you do, one of the things that sort of hits you is the verticality of the trail you are on. There does seem to be a large amount of what you would consider to be fresh overgrowth, but as you're looking around, you do seem to see what could be a well-trod trail underneath that overgrowth, if that makes sense. And given what Screaming Wind had told you about the nature of this fast-growing canopy of, vines and everything, it kind of makes sense. So for the most part, you feel that you're going on the right way. I will ask this though. Who in the group is leading the charge? Would it be Tarth or would it be someone else?
I would say Tarf is taking the lead. He's used to going through jungle.
Okay, give me a survival check if you would be so kind.
Survival.
A 10. Okay. You do get turned around once or twice. Again, the nature of all this overgrowth and everything has made it so following what is clearly a pre-made trail without spending some time cutting a path through is going to be a little bit difficult. You have various weapons where you could do that, so I'd allow you to do that if that's what you wanted.
Tarf, he's a smart lizard. He knows that, as Wind said, it'll just grow back thicker. So he's not going to cut it back.
Someone was paying attention. Very wise. Okay. So you're basically trying to work your way around the overgrowth. All right. Takes a little bit of time, but you're able to, sometimes you jump off the route, but by and large you've got a general idea of where it is. And I would say it's been about an hour or so, but you notice I did already ask for a survival check. I'll be kind. Tarth, give me one more survival check since you're pulling the lead. And who's the person right behind him? Oh, never mind. Tarth, as you're heading down, you see all these different multicolored plants. While the majority of them are somewhat unique to Chult itself, you've lived enough in places like this to at least understand the basic principles of nature. You know, what might be safe, what might be dangerous. And you do notice a particular patch of brown bushy weeds, which are partially off to the side of the path, but as you're glancing around, you notice them move slightly. And it's not like there's a creature in there or something. With a 22, I will say this. These vines are very idly, lazily flexing of their own accord.
Stop.
In the name of love. Sorry.
Brown vines. They're aware of us.
I would say with the marching order, Bucket would have been bringing up the rear, having all the kobolds in the sight and line in front of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But Bucket will stop.
Okay. So I would say, as it's been pointed out, you can all see this, patch of, brown weeds, which sort of trail in and out of other, coloured vines and, plants and everything. Give me, I would say, both Rolder and Tertra, if, and Lucid, actually, I would say all three kobolds, please give me a nature check to see if you can identify these things. Oh, wow. Rolder, yeah, you've actually seen this sold in a marketplace, or at least dried up, and it is not, this is not the sort of marketplace that one likes to be seen in. This is called this is me butchering the name now, Okuligobo weed. It is basically it's a very useful element in certain poisons. It is you would know that people can get stung, but it's not lethal. But at least for most people. But if you were to basically fall into an entire patch of it, you might have a bad day. But the thorns are covered in a very unpleasant poison that can cause mild to severe hallucinations. It's also... After you.
No, keep going.
Okay. The only other thing I was going to say is that while it does have a very, very light sense of animal nature to it, like these are grasping vines, it doesn't have any kind of real animal cunning or sentience. It just very lazily goes for whatever it can detect nearby.
We should stay as far away as possible from these, unless you want to go on a very bad trip.
I do not believe they'll affect me unless they get inside. But your warning is noted.
Yes. Make sure that any skin is covered up as best as possible, and try not to touch it.
Would you say it would react negatively to fire?
You would. I would say, Roder, you would know that fire is a good way of dealing with most problems in the jungle.
I mean, it's a plant, it burns, so...
I was meaning more the intense heat would drive it away.
Oh, yes. That probably would do it as well.
Without even thinking, Tarf will just jab the points on the back of his axes into his shoulders again. So I'll roll one Hemocraft die, which is a d4.
Okay.
And he will activate his Crimson Right on his axes and use them to basically ward away the weed.
Okay. So, Tarth, you basically take your axes, you basically poke yourself in your back with your own weapons, ironically enough doing the max damage for your Hemocraft die, but the blades do light up with a burning blaze, and I would say as you use them against the weeds, they sort of like curl and blacken, and you do hear that very odd, like crackling, almost hissing sound that wood of a certain type makes when it's in a fire. And you see like the vines sort of like coil in on themselves as they try to move back.
Yeah, he's not trying to set them on fire, he's just trying to push them away with the heat.
Yeah. It's as you're looking at this again, the reaction, it's less of an animal and more, it's less of an animal reacting in pain and more like, you know, wood that's like sort of like it's not fast moving. These aren't like, you know, animal intellect plants. It's more like a sunflower or something that's like closing itself up instead of opening up, and it's just sort of retracting on itself rather than, you know, panicking and rushing away into the woods. I would say this, you can move around this stuff now fairly easily, and now that you've know what to look for, you shouldn't have too much difficulty picking them out as you make your way down the path. So, a little way down the path, after you've worked your way through a few more swarms of flies and the weeds, you find that sickly sweet smell gets a little bit stronger as you come across a rotting corpse of a creature most of you have only seen from a distance. You see flies buzzing around the rotting remains of a terrafolk, one of the large dinosaur-type creatures that were attacking Screaming Wind earlier. As you look forward, you also see two other figures who are tied up and basically tied against one of the large trees. Looks to be a unconscious Tabaxi male and what appears to be a dark-skinned elven woman who seems to be breathing a little bit hard. I would say that you guys are around, I'd say, over 60 feet from them. So let's just bring the scene over to here. What would you like to do?
Tarf is going to try and examine the area where he can.
Okay. Give me a either investigation. I would say survival seems to make sense for this, so give me a survival check. 19. Very good roll. Very good roll. What is it you're trying to discern?
He's trying to discern if it's an ambush, basically.
Are there any entities that seem to be waiting to spring on you? That's a very good question. I would say, as you are looking around, you don't see anything. However, the air around you has... You do have those instincts within you where there's a certain quiet before the storm. There's a certain feeling about the position you're in. It seems a little convenient. But you can't detect any individuals in particular lurking around. You don't see any terrafolk that are up in the tree line waiting to attack. You don't see any humans, kobolds, goblins, or any other creatures hiding behind the trees. All you see are the trees and the bushes around you, and the two figures.
Does he notice any movement from the trees or bushes?
That is a 19. You see movement everywhere. Everything in the forest is alive. It's a forest. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Logan is not very experienced in the jungle, so he was kind of just waiting to see what the big reptile man did.
So, at the moment... Oh, I'm so sorry, Seth. Carry on.
Tarf just growls, convenient as if to convey, careful, this could be a trap.
I would say, you hear a choking, coughing, spluttering sound from the woman. The elven woman is, she kind of shakes herself awake and glances over and sees you in the distance. Hey, over here, help, please, over here, quick. What are you going to do?
Tarf is going to approach. When he gets to within 15 feet, he's going to hold his breath.
Okay, till about 15 feet. So I'm going to put you here. And I think it's probably a good idea that we bring ourselves over to this map. So. The majority of the group are going to be over here watching from the tree line. Tarth has come over here. You see this woman here and this Tabaxi. The Tabaxi is still completely conked out. I'm actually going to add that to his... Boop. There we go. And she is currently tied up. Quickly, come on. They'll be back at any moment.
Tarth is going to kind of signal to Rolder and signal to the kobolds. Any ranged weapon, be ready with it.
How are you signaling this, by the way?
He kind of looks to him, does like a bow movement, like drawing an arrow.
Okay.
Basically, just to be ready with ranged, as he's going to move in.
Okay. As you move up to the woman, the tree and the vines on which she was tied, you see vines wrap around her neck, and she screams in horror as she is pulled into the tree and disappears from view. Are you going to try and stop this?
Yeah, he's going to take a swing at the vines with his axe.
Okay, give me a melee attack with disadvantage, if you'd be so kind. Because I'm assuming, because the vines are literally wrapping around her neck, it's going to be a bit tricky to do that. So, oh gosh, that's a 19 and a 25. Okay. I would say this, you do... So where are you aiming for specifically?
Not too close to her neck, but close, to, basically about a foot away from her neck along the vine.
Okay. I would say that you actually do sever the large cord that was wrapping around her neck. However, several more are wrapping around her waist and everything, and she's just able to get out a nice healthy scream before she's pulled into the bush itself, and you hear a crunching sound. As
Grab the Tabaxi and go.
well, we're going to get to that as stepping out from the tree line. Let me just beep, boop, 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 boop. All around you, the bushes and the trees begin to quite literally come alive as we get into a little thing I like to call combat. So, bear with me a moment while I get everybody into the turn order, and then I will have you all roll initiative. Roll 20. Please behave.
Never.
Yeah, I know, right? Add a turn if you'd be so kind. Okay, so roll your initiative if you would be so kind, guys.
Okay. My initiative is -1.
Yay!
Oh, for God's sake, bucket.
I think we have... Did I have green? Okay, the only person without... Well, the Terrafolk doesn't get any initiative because it's dead. Tarth is on a 9. We've got these guys. They've got their thing. Rolder's on a 22. Bucket.
On initiative. I know.
It's okay. We can wait a moment. It's all good. Let's see. So, is there anybody who has... So, we've got Lucy. Let's see. So, Tetra Cream's got an 11. Let's enter that. What was Lucy's initiative? That was a 20. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, it's like if you've not clicked the token when you roll initiative, I have to manually type it in because roll 20 sucks. Tarth, was your initiative 9 or... Yeah,
9.
It was 9. So let me just delete that from there. So I think the only people... Bucket, what was your initiative? 3?
Yeah, -1, so 2.
2. Oh no. Oh no. I'm sorry. And I think everybody else is ready. So, starting at the top. Hey! Again, start of the initiative order. Rolder! What would Rolder like to do with this bullshit situation?
Okay, let's see. So... from the map, I can't really see anything.
Okay. So, I would say this. From where you were standing, you know that Tarth is down here. There was a woman who was right here, but she got pulled into the bush. You also feel like the bushes around you are starting to move. There's activity coming from here, and here, and here. At least that's what you can see.
Okay. So...
What happened? Why are we in combat? I'm back.
Basically, you guys were walking down the trail. There were 2 people who were tied up, and there was a dead Terrafolk corpse. Tar thought it was a bit convenient, so he went ahead. And as he went forward, the woman got pulled into the bushes, and something bad happened. And now the bushes themselves are starting to move, and there's some weird stuff here, 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 and maybe here.
let's see.
Did you poke again where the weird stuffs are happening?
Yes, indeed. From your perspective, because this is the only thing you've really seen, here, 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 and you all saw here as the woman was pulled in.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I got the entire contents of the spell, but
Okay.
is Earth Tremor self and then just 10 feet around me, or is it I select there and...
Huh. So the thing is, it says anything that is in that range needs to make a dex saving throw. It doesn't actually say anything. Yeah, it's each creature other than you in that area. So this would include your friends, unless you have. Again, sorry. Do you have like? Is this an instance where you can? You're a bard, so I don't think you can use sorcery points or anything like that to protect your friends. I think anybody So you would have to locate. You have to put a point down where you're fine with people getting injured.
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to ask. So it's like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, you
the-
can.
the
It's like the
emergency rolling,
range.
Is this going to be like aligned where I pick a point to cast
Yes.
it, or
It would have to be somewhere within 10 feet. So, according to that.
yeah, we'll go. Actually, yeah, right about the tree.
Okay. That actually works. Sure thing.
And what is my DC?
Dexterity saving throw.
DC of 12. I have to beat.
Okay then. And that a 9 does not. So roll me that d6 damage, please.
6. I'll take a 5.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting. You hear the tree, or at least something that's in the tree, make a very angry sound. Next up, Lucy. Oh, do you want to move or anything, or are you comfortable with where you are in life?
Yeah, I think I'm comfortable where
Oh, well, that was actually to Icy. But yeah, did Icy want to move?
sorry.
No, because got a couple kobolds. I believe we all have pack tactics.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
So, well, I'll stay together.
Okay, Lucy, it is now your turn. What would you like to do, Lucy?
I think I will stay where I. That is okay.
Do you want to hold any actions? Do you have any sort of like area of effect spells?
Oh yeah, that might be. I guess I'll hold entangle, and then if anyone like if anyone comes within, if an enemy comes within range of us, I'll use it.
Okay, so what's the range on Entangle?
It says 90 feet / 20 feet.
Oh, okay.
Range is 90 feet, area is 20 feet, so I'm in a 20 feet circle, but was at 90 feet.
Okay, so I was going to say 90, that's pretty much anywhere on the map. So you're saying the moment you see an enemy, you're going to drop Entangle on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, right on cue, the tree that was making all the noise earlier is going to start moving forward towards Rolder. As you see this very angry looking tree vine type creature come out towards you. I think it is going to swipe at you with its claws. Does a 13 hit you?
Beats it.
Oh, it hits you?
Yeah, 13 beats.
Oh. Then you're going to take 7 piercing damage as its claws grab onto you.
Ow.
Yeah. It rolled pretty high there. Next up, its friend down here is going to start making its way over to Tarth. I said it's going to make its way. Bear with me a moment, because roll 20 is roll 20. So, I would say this is going to be the same thing. Tarth, Does... I'm assuming 9 doesn't hit, so you're fine for the moment. Good, good, good. Next up is Tertra. What would you like to do?
Also, going to point out Taft's still got his esoteric right active on one of his axes.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Familiar myself with the roll 20.
Hmm.
What's this thing next to me?
The thing that is next to you... Okay, so this is Bucket. This is Lucy.
Just it didn't say in the turn order
I see.
the name, so I
There's a
didn't know.
potato.
So I assumed it was enemy.
Okay. Oh, in the turn order, the one after you, that's Tarth. And the thing that's here, that's attacking Rolder, that is a very scary twig man. Basically, I'm so used to some of the other characters. He is being attacked by basically an anthropomorphic wicker man.
Oh no, nothing's saved. My descriptions for none of my spells aren't here.
Oh shit, no, really?
Yeah, but like, we all know a charm person does.
Yes.
I'm just gonna attempt to cast that. Let's just start.
Okay, it needs to make DC 12s. Let's see. I would say it's going to have advantage because you are fighting it. So what type of DC? This would be a charisma, wouldn't it? Or is it a wisdom saving throw for charm person?
I don't have the description, so I'm having to pull it up.
It's so good. For the moment...
You could use the find in here, so...
Yeah, if one of you wants to look that up for me while I just sort something out on my end.
Charm person, you attempt to charm a humanoid you see within range, must make wisdom saving throw, and does so with advantage if you or your companions are fighting it. If it fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you until the spell ends, or till you or your companions do anything harmful to it. The charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows it was charmed by you.
Unfortunately, you cast a spell, the creature sort of like all the vines sort of shudder for a little bit, and it just like hisses and creaks at you in an aggressive manner. The spell did not hold. Any bonus actions or movement you want to try and do?
Yeah, I'm just gonna step 5 feet this way.
Bear with me a moment. For some reason, the map's gone to some... On the stream, it looks completely different. What is going on there?
That is strange.
It looks like you've gone to a bathhouse. I'm like, what? You're not supposed to be at the bathhouse.
I've pieced out, guys. I want to go take a bath.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you, but it's like, what? Bear with me a second.
Yeah, I can see that on the stream.
Yeah, but we
I
in the
can see
game...
Forest.
How is it?
Wait, I mean, I saw jungle, so...
Yeah.
Dennis, just to make sure, is Specky here as well?
Yeah, Specky's here.
Are you in this jungle screen?
Yeah, the Dungeon Master... Okay, I've got 2 different windows. One of them is the... hang on a second. Let me just go to the Chult map. What in the actual hell is going on? For whatever reason... Yeah?
Stream window looking at the wrong tab?
No. It's looking at the right tab. That's never frickin' happened before. Okay.
Well, makes you feel any better? I can't see the forest for the dog ass.
Yes. Okay, so yeah,
My
our
sister's dog thinks he's the size of a Yorkshire Terrier, so whenever you sit on the sofa, he tries to force his way onto the lap. But he weighs a ton.
what is going on? Okay, yeah, sure. So for the rest of the stream, our audience is going to, even though our players, they're able to see the freaking the combat that's going on. Thankfully, our stream is seeing a completely different map for no reason. Yeah, sure, that makes absolute sense to me. Thanks, Roll20. What the fuck?
Just play this. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, we're now RPing in the bathhouse. So anyway, that was Turtra's turn. Was there anything else you wanted to do, mate?
Nope.
Okay. Tarth, what would you like to do?
He's got some fire axes, so he's going to use them.
Okay. Time to get chopping.
And a swing.
Okay, are you going for yellow?
Yes.
Okay.
Almost directly in front of him.
Yes. I would say first one is a definite hit. The second one was a miss. I would actually say this, however, the first one, you basically, you pretty much cleave it in two. Both the fire damage and the force of your blade, it just takes the head off this creature, and it's just smoldering in a pile. Is there any... Did you want to continue to try and use the bonus action to try and free this individual over here?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not free so much as just chuck him over his shoulder.
He is currently tied to the tree, much like the woman was.
Yeah, he'll try and cut through the bonds, basically.
Okay. And bear with me a moment, because I'm just going to... there we go. I'm just going to stream the DM view, so mild spoilers. Be warned. Anyway, so that's going to be Tarth's turn. Next up is going to be this guy over here. You see shuffling out of the bushes. 1, 2, 10, 15, 20. This creature is going to come around here, and it's going to take a swing at you with its claws. That is going to be a swing and a miss. It looks very annoyed. Next up, over here, you see another one of these guys, and ooh, it is spoiled for choice. 2 tasty little kobolds. Yeah, so let's roll a d4 and let's see who it goes for. Oh, I see, I'm sorry. That is going to be... oh no. Does 17 hit?
How much?
4 points of piercing damage. Yeah.
Stop picking on those squishy bolts.
I'm sorry, but you're just so pink and delicious I can't resist myself.
But there's a meaty old gator down here. He's much tastier.
Unfortunately, he's too far away from the other guys, so, But yeah, next up, Tarth, you hear more rustling as another one comes over. And yeah, it is actually going to take a swing at you. Does a 10 hit you?
It does not.
Okay, big beefy boy. Unfortunately, no biting for today. And last but not least, however, hi. Second, third, and fourth verse, same as the first. A 13, I'm assuming, does not hit.
Nope.
Okay. You very, very lucky. Book it!
Can I just say,
yes.
Lizard Man is a very good class for Blood Hunt. Very good race for Blood Hunt as a playhouse.
Yes, they are. So, book it. The basic gist is, while Rhoda did seem to do a good chunk of damage to this bush over here, the bush is now very angrily beating him up, and it has a friend as well. So, what would you like to do?
I'm just gonna firebolt blue.
Blue. Okay. Roll it.
Let's see. Oh, fucking iPads.
Yeah. Fucking roll 20.
It's not even roll 20 now, it's a fucking iPad. I'm trying to look at my D&D Beyond and flip over, but every time I leave the tab, the roll 20 tab, for like 0.5 seconds, it fucking refreshes the page. And that is +6 to hit.
Okay. That is going to be... Let me just bring back over there. Oh, it goes without
Nope,
saying
not a
that
D8.
hits.
It's a D10. So
Okay.
10 points of fire damage.
Yeah, you incinerate the damn thing as it hisses, and there's almost like a screaming sound as it just withers and curls up. I will say, because of the fire, this creature here sort of like hisses, and it almost sort of like it moves back a little bit. It doesn't like move out of range or anything, but it does seem to react. It doesn't seem very happy about the fire. So,
Okay, and can I get Bucket to move, there's there on the other side of the, creature from Rhonda to give...
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry, let me move that for you. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and let me get rid of those status symbols for you, because that was from the previous combat. Which was 6 months ago. Oh my gosh, guys.
I know.
Yeah, Specky does not have a turn because Specky is just enjoying the show and chuckling to themselves. This individual here is, yeah, you know what?
All watching Potato.
Yes. They are, I'd say they're very lucky in that they're completely unconscious and missing out on all this chaos. The Terrafolk is also dead. So, Rhoda! Ow. Ow. What would you like to do?
Well, let's see.
This nasty pasty has been burned to a crisp. This meanie is, it looks like, I would say this one seems actually a little bit smaller than the other one. But it does seem to have been focused on you until Bucket showed up. So you would take advantage with your rapier. So you can roll again if you wish. That having been said, 18 will definitely hit it.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to do 5 points. Okay, so how would you like to destroy this creature?
Gonna take his rapier and skewer its head.
Okay. Yeah, easily done. Basically, the rapier, because of the angle and everything, you basically snap something very important within, and the whole pile of twigs just sort of like, you know, crumples on itself. It only had 4 hit points. I rolled randomly for the hit points on these guys, and some of them are a little more squishy than others. Some of them are very bad.
For flavor, can he like take out a steel and just like light the head on fire?
Yeah, I'll allow that. Nice little campfire. Next up, Lucy, what would you like to do?
Everybody's dead.
Child.
The child proves to be the most destructive of us all.
Is nobody else fighting with us?
Yeah, so the 2 horrible guys up here, they seem to be taken care of, but further down, I would say that I don't know if you would be able to see it, but you can hear Tarth, grunting and, fighting against some stuff down here. You would have to move to, see through the tree lines. So good.
Something 30 feet up.
Oh, I apologize as well. You were holding an action for Entangle, and I never actually... Yeah, I think we all forgot that. So, apologies. So, yeah, you've not burned
It's okay, I
Entangle.
just assumed, I was like, do I do it on my turn then? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Next time, just please speak up, because I will forget otherwise. I apologize. That's on me.
Give her a free action this turn.
Say again?
Give her a free action this turn.
Yeah, absolutely. You can... well, I would say this. You've not burned that spell slot or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. I'll go up 30 feet.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, from there you can now see that Tarth is kind of surrounded by 3 very aggressive, twig monsters, and he's trying to carry this Tabaxi gentleman who appears to be unconscious.
Okay, I shall run for him and be like, I'll save you.
Are you going to cast any kind of spell or use any kind of weapon or ability?
If I use my full movement, I can't, right?
Oh, was that your... No. If you can use your full movement, but it's only if you use your full movement twice. That counts as a dash. Yeah.
I cannot see where anyone is, and I don't want to accidentally tie.
Yeah, I would say there's one here, and there might be another somewhere over here.
Okay, I mean, can I tell that?
From the noise, loosely, if you're trying to do an aimed attack, your best bet would be purple over here.
Purple?
Yeah.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
Yes, I will cast Infestation on the...
You're going to cast Infestation. Could you click that for us, please, so we can see what that looks like? Okay. Cloud of Might flees another parasite. Interesting. It needs to make a Constitution saving throw, which it's about to do. Constitution. That was a nat 20. So, I think it's going to save that. Yeah. I would say this, unfortunately, you cast a spell, and you see all these bugs and flies move around this tree creature. It sort of like looks around, just like... and it just like glares at you. Just no reaction. Did not care at all.
I'll have my revenge.
So, next up, speaking of, that one is dead. This one is dead. Tertra, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I will go where I saw everybody else go.
Okay, so further down.
5, 10, 15, 20. What's my movement?
You're a kobold, so I'm going to assume it's probably 30.
It's not even on my sheet. What the hell? So much stuff missing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. There we go.
Okay.
What's the range on Charm Person again?
Let's scroll up a bit. I think...
30 feet.
Okay.
So...
yeah, you could get any of these 3 creatures from your position.
Which one looks the least hurt?
At the moment, it looks like none of these guys have been hit yet. They all seem pretty fresh.
One in the back. Orange.
Orange?
Circle.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Give me your charm person again. That's going to be 12 DC, yes? Okay. And that's wisdom. So that is going to be... again, even if it had disadvantage, unfortunately, those were some really high rolls. You try and cast a spell, it just sort of like hisses at you. This weird sort of like clacking sound with the wood. No effect. Any bonus actions?
No, that's it.
Sorry. Tarth,
Kind of
it
a
is...
useless cobalt early right now.
Sorry.
Bards don't get shit.
You're trying to charm a plant.
Hey, I don't have anything else.
Taff is going. He's got hold of his tabaxi, right?
You do, yes.
In that case, he's going to disengage. He's going
Okay.
to move back to here. Place the tabaxi down about here.
Okay.
Turn around, and he's going to be ready to end the plant's advance.
Okay, I'll allow that. So yeah, your Tabaxi friend is going to be over here for the moment, and let's just put him on his side there. Okay. Yeah, that's actually not a bad move, and the disengage means that they can't do anything this time round. However, purple is going to shuffle forward, so like a weird hissing, clacking sound. And yeah, let's do a needle attack. I'm assuming a 7 doesn't hit.
It does not.
Bugger. Okay. Next up, this guy is down. This guy, orange, he's going to rush forward. And he too is going to try and use his needles. Does a 20 hit?
Yes, it does.
Wonderful. Please take 5 piercing damage. I just want to double check something about his... Oh, and that was a ranged attack, I see. Well,
Okay, so wouldn't he have disadvantage if he moved up to
I will say this, because this was the DM, it's been 6 months since he read these stat blocks, so it would be a ranged attack, then they would have moved.
Fair enough.
I'm allowed to say that and cheat because I am the DM. So,
Fair enough.
next up, this guy, green, he's going to do 5, 10, 15, 20. I would say he's going to try and cut through here. Actually, no, he's probably going to cut through here. That makes more sense. And we're going to make it nice and simple. We're just going to start swiping at Tarth. 19, I'm assuming, would hit.
That hurts, yeah.
You take 4 points of piercing damage as its claws dig into you. Oh dear. Tarth is starting to... Not going down as quickly as you did in the previous combat with the pirates. But don't worry. I'll get you. Bucket! What would you like to do? As you see the lizard tank slowly be worn down by the 3 remaining plant creatures.
Bucket is going to firebolt the purple one.
Firebolt purple. Okay, roll it for me, please.
+6.
Oh, a 16. That is going to hit. Roll me some damage, if you'd be so kind. Ooh.
6.
So, yeah, let me just bring up their stat blocks one more time and see how they are with fire damage, because... unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have any vulnerabilities when it comes to fire. So it is currently at 1 hit point. But yeah, it is looking pretty badly hurt. Yikes. We're learning a lot about Peanut tonight. Anything else?
No, that's just me being a pyromaniac. That's pretty much all I can do. Buster, you're not... Buster! Stop!
No, Buster, more.
Okay, love you, but you are giant and you're hurting me. Back off.
Oh.
Good boy.
Oh.
Good boy. He thinks he's a lapdog. He's not a lapdog.
Yeah. It's always the really big boys that don't realise that they're not allowed to sit on your laps. But anyway.
This is paw on my hand and he's scratching it.
Oh.
I'm gonna mute before I start whimpering with this bird dog.
It's all good. It's all good. So, next up is going to be Rolder. What would you like to do?
Well, Rolda desperately needs some healing, so that is what he is going to do.
Okay.
And cure wounds.
Mm-hmm. Is Cure Wounds just a... Oh, yeah, so it's a touch ability. You're going to give yourself 8 hit points. Okay. Yep. Any bonus actions? Any movement?
I mean, good things sort of shit. Okay. Math.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
I was going to say as well, for future reference, what you can do is when you click on your you just do a +8 and it automatically does the math. But yeah, anything else you want to do?
Let's see. How long is that? Okay, going to do a bit of bardic inspiration to Tarth.
Okay, Tarth, you feel a little bit inspired. Is there anything in particular that Rolder says to Tarth, or just a really nice little musical note?
It's a really quick musical number.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You bet your ass at home is going to be inspired.
Lucy! Some very big, unpleasant dudes have suddenly come up across you, and your friend? The creepy guy who eats people. What would you like to do?
So this is a cantrip. Can I try Infestation again?
Yeah, you can cantrips you can use without expending any kind of spell slots. That's no problem. It does require your action to use, so you can do that.
Okay.
So roll it again. What is it that he needs to... Which one are you attacking, first of all? Are you attacking green, orange, or purple?
Oh, right by green, so I'll just try and attack green.
Okay. What is the...
I'll display it again. Hold on.
Yeah. Let's see. Constitution saving throw. Okay. Boop. This time it's a 7, so yeah, that did not beat your DC. Can I please have you roll me 1d6 poison damage? Okay. So this happens. You basically let out... do you want to describe how you destroy this creature?
I hadn't thought of... I forgot what animals I had.
I mean, would you say it's fair that you have a whole bunch of like little bugs and insects that are sort of like living in your pockets? You basically just reach into your pockets, just like blow it like dust, and they basically swarm over it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so sorry for taking over there, but yeah, the creature sort of like hisses and clacks, and it basically stumbles to the side and knocks into this one a little bit as it falls down and stops moving. Anything else you want to do?
I'm telling to suck it, and I'm gonna look at the guy in purple, and I'm gonna do like the thing with your fingers, like point at my eyes and point at him, like I'm gonna get you.
Roll an intimidation check. Just for the fun of it. Okay. Sort of hisses and clacks a little. It looks very damaged, but We'll see if it does anything on its turn. That one is dead. This one is dead. The Tertra, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Because I've now rememorized my class, I'm going to cast Song of Rest.
Song of Rest. Okay. Let me look that up.
Copying and pasting this
Yeah,
right here.
thank you.
At
Okay.
level 2, you can play Soothe Music to revitalize wounded allies.
That's something
that's
during a
right.
short
Short
rest.
rest, unfortunately.
I misread that.
Not a problem. Not a
All right,
problem.
then I'm just gonna give Bardic Inspiration to person who eats people.
Already
I
got one.
yeah, I
Sorry,
don't know if
I gotta
that
keep
stacks.
with the meme.
Yeah. I don't know if that stacks. Do you have any
Oh.
kind of melee weapon on you?
No,
Oh.
I don't. I'm not supposed to be much of a combat kobold.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I apologize. We'll do some. We'll figure something out for the next session, my friend. No sweat. Mhm.
I could just put Bardic Inspiration on somebody else. So, how about I just put on Lucy instead?
Okay. Lucy, you feel very inspired.
Where's the D6? Buttons.
The D6 stuff, that's going to be on the left-hand side of the screen with the dice roller.
I did it.
There you go. Oh, so a full 6. Nice. But yeah, so Tarth, it is now your turn. You are looking a bit rough, but you are also feeling pretty inspired.
Okay, he's gonna take a swing of his unlit axe at purple.
Okay. Yeah. That I'm not even going to. It crumples like a wet paper bag.
And then the other one.
Okay.
He's gonna use a lit axe. Oh, for God's sake.
That's a
Can
nat.
I roll my inspiration, please?
I will allow you to roll your inspiration and add it to whatever that roll is.
Okay,
So
it's
go on.
1d4, isn't it? This
I think it's a yes. It is a D4. I'm afraid, not a D6. So
9.
6, 7, 8, 9. 9, unfortunately, is not going to hit its AC. So you have burned your inspiration. Apologies about that, sir. But yes. Any movement or anything, or are you good where you are?
No, he's good where he is.
Okay. There's only one of the bad boys remaining. And it is now its turn. And it is just going to try and claw at you. Does an 18 hit?
It does.
Then you take 7 points of piercing damage. As I believe you're going to go down. 1 down. Unfortunately, it looks like it's the only one left, so I don't think it's long for this world somehow. Next up is going to be Bucket. It looks like the big meat boy has gone down again. What would you like to do?
Sorry, I was still muted. I can only see Orange Boy, right? There's no others?
Yeah, at this point, it looks like whatever activity was going on, Orange is the only one still going that you can see.
Okay. Third burst, same as the first two.
Okay.
Plus 6.
So that's a 6. So that's a 12. Yeah, that actually just hits. Roll me some damage.
Excellent. Oh, come on!
Yeah. Unfortunate. But, yeah, you hit it. Basically, this one looks like it is covered in a wet, substance that kind of, absorbs most of the fire. And, yeah, it's covered in blood. Tarth's blood, the woman's blood, lots of blood. So, not that much damage, unfortunately. Anything else you want to do?
No, I'm perfectly happy to stay back here.
Okay.
I do not have a lot of health. I can't afford to get hit.
So Specky, nope. This guy, nope. Nope. Rhoda! Your turn.
Okay. So, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, screwing around the tree here.
Uh-huh.
And let's do a little pokey poke.
Okay. I will say you, unless I'm mistaken, you do have advantage because this
Oh, yeah.
creature is engaged with, that's much better. 3 piercing, okay. Not a massive amount, but again, you are doing some damage to the creature. Any bonus actions or anything you want to try and do?
Level 2, so...
Level 2. Level 2.
Let's see. Yeah, that's all I got for now.
Not a problem. Lucy, it is now your turn. There's only one remaining. The one you were giving the stink eye to is taken down. You're feeling inspired. You're feeling wired. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let out a tiny kobold battle cry, and I'm gonna do Primal Savagery on the orange.
Okay, now refresh our memory. Primal Savagery is where you basically use your druidic powers to, basically you have like your super sharpened teeth and fangs. Okay.
Yeah, and they take 1d10 acid damage.
Okay, so just move forward 5 feet and give me a... It says a melee spell attack, so it's basically a d20 plus your spell attack modifier.
Okay.
Yeah.
With advantage.
With advantage, because you are flanking with Rolder, and besides, you are a kobold. Pack tactics!
Yay! Okay, d20 plus, spell attack. Oh, there it is. Okay, my bad, sorry.
It's okay. It's been 6 months, guys.
Plus.
Okay, 14 is absolutely going to hit, so that damage is going to be one. Give me 1d10 acid, please. 3 acid. Okay. Yeah, Lucy. Not to quote a different tabletop show, but how do you want to do the thing?
I guess. Can I use the group body of green to like propel myself up at like their face? And just like. Whee!
When you say the body of green, you mean the inspiration?
No, the dead body.
Oh, yes, yeah, you can
'Cause
basically...
I'm short.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'll use it as a springboard and viciously attack the face of Orange.
Okay, yeah, Tarth is unconscious, but the rest of you see the tiniest kobold, this little yellow girl, basically just leap forward and savage the fuck out of this one remaining creature. And just, you see like smoke begin to smolder from like the acid dripping from her fangs as she's just tearing into it. So that's a thing. As you now are I would say out of combat. So let's remove all turns. And you are basically left with an unconscious Tarth and an unconscious Khajiit. Tarth, just for the fun of it, give me a death saving throw, please. Just the one. Just the one.
Just the one. Okay.
Yeah. Let's hope you don't roll a 1.
After this, can Bucket attempt to stabilize him with a medicine check?
Absolutely. Give me, if you would, give me that medicine check, please.
It's going to be +1. Nope, that's a D100. Ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
There. +1, 20. Dirty 20.
Nice. Okay. Okay, 2 things. One, Tarth, you basically are able to wake up with the group around you. Secondly, roll 20. Why are you still showing the freaking bathhouse? I don't... There are no words.
CS1.
I was gonna say we're all seeing the jungle. So...
I know, and I'm streaming the jungle because I'm streaming my Firefox, but the Chrome browser, which I was using for the camera, it's still showing the bathhouse. I'm genuinely baffled. How? I don't understand. Oh my gosh. Anyway, moving on. Let me try and read through the adventure description here.
A quick question.
Yes, my dear.
How many times can I use Healing Word? It just says 1 bonus.
The bonus action is how quickly you can use it. I would assume Healing Word is a spell, so you are burning a spell slot when you use it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 1 bonus action to cast, but it costs 1 spell slot. But it's
Who else? Who else is down?
It's got like 30-foot range though, so.
The only other person who is unconscious would be this Tabaxi dude who you have never met before. However, you do... Yeah, fair enough. I think that Rolder is still a little rough. Everyone else, I think, is fine.
I can do it on Rolda then.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, how much HP does Tarth have right now?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
revived, but he's still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me do it on him then.
The meat shield, yes. We want to keep him
Yeah.
up as long as we can.
Stay alive.
3. Excellent.
So, would anybody like to give me a medicine check on the Tabaxi gentleman? Or would you like to investigate the area that you have been...
D12. Ignore that.
That's okay. 11. Yeah.
+1, 12.
If you wanted, you think that you'd be able to wake him up fairly easily. Just, some really bad smelling salts or something should be able to shock him out of it. The rest of you, are you investigating, exploring anything?
Tarth's gonna have a look around.
Give me an investigation check.
Oh, damn it.
Ooh.
There's a lot of trees here.
Yeah, it's almost like the guy who got knocked out is still a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
Are we making camp? Because I'm gonna take all the... for, 3 people and make a fire out of them.
That's a very wise idea. I like it. So vindictive. Yeah, I would say, just for the fun of it, Cream, give me an investigation check while you're doing that. 16. Okay. As you're picking up the various bits and pieces of twisted tree limbs, you do notice that deep in one of the bushes is the mangled, bleeding corpse of an elven woman. She did not make it. But with your investigation...
Steal all of her shit.
Okay. She doesn't have much on her. I would say that she has roll me a d4. Just a d4. 1. Okay. I would say that she has, and I'd say enough for 1 extra portion of water. And I would say nothing major. 5 gold pieces. No, change that. 5 silver pieces. I keep forgetting level 2. 5 silver pieces. So, that's pretty much the only stuff you see of value. No real armor, no weapons or anything. There's a survival knife, but you kind of have one that's much better yourself anyway in your general toolkit. So, nothing of value there really. But yeah, you're able to pick up the various bits and pieces of, lumber. And you're able to make a pretty decent campfire. So, is it your intention as a group to rest here for the evening?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say when we set off, it was sort of like a mid to late day because you'd had a conversation with your various patrons in Wakanga, and it was sort of like early afternoon when you had the fight with the pirates. It's been an hour or two, so you are getting on to, I would say it's very early evening, so you could go on for a bit further, but if you're feeling pretty battered and bruised, you can definitely sleep and get up very early in the morning. So, eventually, I assume you eventually wake this gentleman, or you're just going to leave him comatose throughout the night?
I suppose we, wait, the woman's dead, right?
Oh,
completely dead.
she is crumpled into a ball. She is
Alright.
folded like a sandwich.
Ouch. Bubba's gonna look around. What do you think? Shall we attempt to wake him?
Tarf is too busy looking at the corpse.
Not
Try
allowed
not
to
to
eat
this
it.
man's potential friend before we wake him up. Okay. Hearing no objections, Peanut is going to get a balloon, rub it all over, and start just electric shock the man. Just eat.
Okay. He basically sort of comes to a little bit blurry and sort of panically sort of claws away at the air around him. Oh, hello. Oh, good. You found us. Good. Thank you. Where are the rest? Where's Celia?
You appear to be the only survivor.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Do you have anything to drink? I feel terrible.
Bucket will offer his water skin.
Okay. I don't know if we made a note of how many rations you have of water, but for this particular adventure, I'm going to be kind and say we're not making a track of something like that. But yeah, he takes some of the water very gratefully. Oh,
Now, Peanut has 5 pounds of nuts and raisins stashed in the legs. Peanut's fine.
there you go. That's fair. I love it. That's genius. Okay. But yes.
I bought it specifically before we left. Nobody questioned why the Warforged was buying like 12 pounds of nuts.
I mean, it's going to make you trying to float a little more difficult. But we'll get to that.
You got the nuts up, makes great oil.
Yes, it does. But anyway, enough of the kink. So, he basically... He presents himself as Ashen Rock. He and Celia, along with a few other people, were sent yesterday to try and investigate basically what you're doing. And they were set upon by a bunch of terrafolk. He noticed that the terrafolk seemed a little unusual. Like up close, they seemed almost like ragged and sickly, and a little more frantic in the fighting than they usually are. He seems to think that they're afraid of something. He does recall when they were tied up that one of their other people, they were being tied up by the Terror Folk. And when you point out the corpse of the Terror Folk rotting off to the side, he looks a little bit surprised and says, "I guess they were sicker than we thought. That is unusual." But yes, from what little I understand, they have been kidnapping us for sacrifices to the forest itself. Why? I do not know, but personally, I would like very much to, leave as soon as we can. Usually they do not venture into the city districts. Something is bizarre. They are crazed, almost frantic, feral. This is not their usual behavior. Do you have any questions for this gentleman?
Did he say how many was in his original group?
3. Him, the elf woman, and one other. The other person is someone that they saw sacrificed previously. So he has confirmed he is the only remaining survivor of his group.
Does anyone have any questions for the gentleman?
I know exactly what I would love to say, but I'm not going to say it.
Why not?
Because it'd be out of character.
Oh, if it's out of character, then so be it. I mean, if it's an inappropriate thing to say in character, I'm absolutely fine for that. So let's have some social conflict. But no, okay.
No.
He looks to the group and says, "Well, I thank you for rescuing me. I appreciate the water as well, but I think it would be best if I were to make my way back to Malar's throat now. I'm a little stealthier when I am by myself anyway. I think I should be able to make it back in one piece. Is there anything you wish for me to, tell them when I return? You need any kind of further assistance if we can send it, or...?"
Bugger will just look around the others to see if they have anything to say.
Sorry, what did he just say?
It basically asked if he's heading back. Does anyone need anything? Do you, if it's possible, do you guys want anything that's sent on? Like, if there's another group following you?
Oh.
Well, good luck. Thank you again, and be careful. There is something unusual going on here. This is all out of sorts. Good night. And he is going to melt into the jungle, and he will not be seen. So, as the group spend the evening in the jungle at night, I'm going to ask who is holding the first watch.
That will be tough.
Okay, is anybody, is anyone joining Toth? Or are you just trusting this lizard folk fellow? to watch you all and not eat anybody in the middle of the night.
Peanut reaches over, hits the little locking mechanism next to the helmet's neck.
Mhm.
So nobody's...
You know that meme of like the old white person in the black neighborhood just locking the car door?
Roll the Wolf Join watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess apparently I was unmuted earlier because I was going to suggest potions, but
Oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah, we didn't hear you. But okay, yeah.
no, I thought I was muted because I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, we didn't hear you. But yeah. Long of the short of it is, if you want retroactively, he'll say, "See what can be sent. Good luck." But yes, Rolder and Tarth, would you please give me a perception check? 17. And a 4. Okay. Rolder, you're kind of tired and a little bit, frustrated at, the attacks made on you and your person during this day so far. Not exactly what you signed up for when you were going to ingratiate yourself with, this group of explorers. It's been a bit of a very odd day so far, and spent most of the watch kind of not seeing much out of the ordinary. Tarth, you have spent the rest of the watch. You have had your eyes peeled for any and all movement, and there are things around you. There are trees, there are creatures. You see, I would say you do notice the occasional winged monkey. It's a first for you, but you do see through the trees a small group of monkey-like creatures. They don't look dangerous in any way, but you notice on occasion as they swing from tree to tree, one of them isn't going to bother swinging. It just flaps its wings, which is interesting. You see the occasional snake moving from tree to tree as well, but nothing that's going to come too near to the fire. By and large, just regular, jungle life. So, who is taking the second watch?
Bucket will.
Okay, who is joining Bucket?
I will join Bucket.
Okay. Tertia and Bucket, please both give me perception checks. Okay, that's a 12.
This is +3.
Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I would say this. You were making some adjustments earlier to your suits, basically the viewfinder, the cameras that you have. Some of the lenses have become a little bit fogged up because of all the humidity in the jungle that you're in, and there's a little bit of work that you need to do before you're able to properly fix them. So for the most part, it's a little bit tricky to work fine detail. You got a general sense of things. You would know if something was about to leap on top of you or something. Tertra, roll initiative. No, I'm joking. Pretty much similar to Tarth. You see the various bits of wildlife and nature. I would say the one thing that catches your eye is just across the clearing. You do notice one creature that sort of stands out. It's like this little bunny rabbit. and it's just like eating leaves and everything. It hasn't noticed you guys or the fire yet, but the one defining feature that really sticks out is the large horn that is sticking out from its head. Now, I don't believe you would have seen these. You might have heard of them before. But, yeah, you do notice this strange rabbit creature with the horn just, I'd say, about 70 feet or so away, before eventually the crackling of the fire sort of startles it, and it's going to go into the underbrush. Other than that, not much else is going on. So.
Great.
I would say because you're only a group of 5, I would say one other person can... is it fair to take a point of exhaustion? I would say no. I'm going to be fair. I would say that the rest of you are able to, at least get enough sleep and alternate the amount of time that you're on watch to where you're able to do what you need to do. And eventually, it is a new day. And you are all fully refreshed. You have had a long rest. All your hit points have been recovered. And your various traits and all that other good stuff has been dealt with as well. So, is there anything you guys wish to do before you head back on the road and continue your investigation?
I think so.
I think we're good.
Okay. So, continuing on the road, let me see if I can one last time try and get Roll20 to behave itself, because I hate Roll20 so much. I would like, as you guys are walking down, give me a survival check, if you would be so kind. 20. Okay, Toth
I'm
and...
gonna go AFK to use the bathroom. Beer.
Not a problem,
If Icy wants to go over and roll for me, he can.
So, Toth, as you're making your way down, you see a few different, types of vines. You see the occasional brown patch of vines that you know to avoid from, the previous day's travel. However, there is something else you notice. These, the trees in this area seem a little more sickly and, diseased looking the further on you go. And you see vines that are wrapped around them have a very odd yellow coloration to them. It's almost like yellow veins along the vines. And with a 20, I would say you... how far away do you get from these trees?
He tries not to get too close.
Okay. I would say about 15 feet away. You sort of stop the party and you watch them. They almost sort of like pulse a little bit and move, kind of similar to the brown ones. These ones seem a little more animated. And you notice Let's say you would notice a snake or something is going down the side of one of these trees when it is suddenly grabbed and choked by these vines, as barbs seem to emerge from them as the barbs wrap around and choke and impale this snake as they are slowly starting to drag. They drag it deeper. I would say they are dragging them up into the tops of the tree.
Okay. Can Taff get a good look at the top of the trees?
Give me an investigation check. 13. As I mentioned earlier, the lighting here is pretty dim. It is actually getting, I would say, as you've gotten deeper and deeper into the jungle itself, you've been a bit disturbed to see that it is actually pretty hard to make out most of the stuff here. I would say, let's go with this map here. Yeah, it is a bit with a 13. You can see movement. It's almost like a sea of snakes up there, as ironically enough, the actual snake is pulled in, and probably bad things are happening to it.
Taff is going to aim roughly, use his blowgun, aim roughly at where the snake was taken, and loose a needle.
Huh. Okay. Roll me an attack. Interesting. Okay, yeah. Huh. Now, this is piercing damage. This isn't poison or anything.
No.
Okay. Basically, you take a shot. I would have said with disadvantage, but no, I like it. I like it. As you take a shot with your blowgun. Hello?
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, was fiddling and kind of screwed something up. Continue.
Not a problem. But yeah, basically, these vines have wrapped around the snake, pulled it up into the canopy. Tarth is taking a pot shot with a blowgun, and you actually hit the massive vines, and the entire tree itself seems to like writhe a little bit as all of the vines, at least around this particular tree, like sort of like buckle and hit. Well, I wouldn't say they hiss, but all the spines and barbs sort of like quiver and react in pain. You heard it. Whatever it is, you heard it.
Taff's going to try and rack his memory for anything he could have heard of this tree could possibly be.
Survival or nature or history. 22. Okay, yes. These are these are actually vines themselves. These are plants, a plant-based threat. These are referred to by the locals as Mertable Vines. Their poison is pretty unpleasant. They can be very well hidden, and they do usually require some keen eyes to spot them before walking into them. But fortunately, with your 20 and everything, you were absolutely fine doing that. They are pretty immune to anything that, dishes poison damage. But you do know that you could, in this instance, maybe move around them. It would take a bit of time, but if you were to take out one or two more of them, probably the mass clump of, all the ones that are kind of leeching off these trees would instinctively get the hint and retract, so you could pass.
Yeah, Taff's going to do that.
Okay.
More darts.
Okay, since you know what you're doing, I'm not going to have you roll for it. It takes a minute or two. How many darts do you have?
I've got 18 left.
Okay, let's call it 14 left. As you, one by one, you basically attack the vines. And because it's such a focused attack, the disturbingly animal-like mentality of the wider network of vines just sort of all retracts as one, and it's a very unpleasant sight as you see all these vines just sort of like snake away and out of sight. You know they're around there somewhere, but yeah, they do not want to be near whatever is attacking them.
Okay.
So I'm going to relay the information on the vines to the others.
Okay, very well done there. Eventually, I would say, yeah, no, those are some good rolls. I'm not going to penalise you for them. I would say it's going to be another half hour or so, heading through the woods, the jungle rather, until you find yourself, let me just get the correct description here. So the path is going to turn east, sloping upwards before reaching this hilly clearing covered in a very thick grass. As you look through the the tree canopy, you realize with surprise that there's this open space in front of you, this area where you can see proper sunlight, an opening in the tree canopy. There is a large, well, I wouldn't say large, there seems to be a pond or a marsh ahead of you, and in the center of it is this large stone dais, and around it are a group of small multicolored creatures. What do you do?
Does Tarf have any possible knowledge of these creatures? What they, can you guess from what they look like, what they could be?
Yeah, give me a nature or a history, whichever is higher. Also, Sephi, just for the record, your hit points are currently at 0, so you might want to fix
They
that.
shouldn't be. They
It's
are
at 5.
22.
Your token seems to have them at 5 for some reason.
No, I don't know why. But on my character sheet is 22.
Okay. Not a problem. Technology, it's a wonderful thing when it works.
I can't even see my token on this screen. So
Okay. Well, we will see if you need your token. But yes, a history. You're not sure. They're almost the size of the kobolds, if not a little bit bigger. You hear a weird sort of wet sloshing sound, probably just because of the pond, but other than that you're not sure. The rest of you, I would say at this point, you can look, well, it's not so much over Tarth's shoulders, like under his arms, because he is tall, you are small. And you can also take a look at the site before you, this open area on top of a hill filled with grass, the small incline of a marsh or a pond, the wooden dais in the middle, and what look to be about 7 weird humanoid creatures. If anyone else would like to give me either a nature or a history check to identify them.
Hey, Dennis.
Hello.
I have to take Maggie out. She's looming.
Not a problem.
You're muted, I see.
I'll be back.
Okay, we'll probably, depending on how the crew wishes to proceed, we may wrap things up shortly. It is entirely up to you.
Tarf is absolutely no way is he rushing in. He's going to wait to see what these creatures do.
What was it, history or what?
History or nature?
Okay. I'm gonna roll nature.
Okay.
And this is +4.
9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12. I would say you are aware of a couple of... They seem to be almost frog-like. And as you're listening, you can just hear the faintest, like almost like that's a weird, like trilling, croaking sound. As they seem to be, you know, like very animatedly, you know, conversing with each other. But yeah, okay.
We'll relay that to the others quietly.
Do you suspect they would be open to negotiation?
I do not know. I can't really tell if they're sentient or just very big frogs. And, quite frankly, you would be terrifying to them. And the kobolds will look like a snack.
So you reckon we should attack? Or mayhaps it'd be best if we avoid them.
Avoiding would probably be the best option.
I agree.
So you're planning to move around them?
I would say so, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna need you all to give me a group stealth check. I will roll for dear Lucy. Beep boop boop.
I'm rolling 2d20s for disadvantage. 5 minus 1, 4. I'm sorry. There's a reason he's called Bucket of Bolts.
Okay, let's just see how Lucy does. Lucy got a 9. So Tarth is a silent shadow of the night. And what about Pink and Bold? We get a stealth check from you two fine young men. 19, very good from Tertra. And from Rolder. 17. Okay, so I would say this. Sephi, Cream, and Ice. Let's just bring up the map real quick. I am going to say, because of where you guys are at the moment, because of your roles, I will say you three can be anywhere you want on this map. You know, I would say basically anywhere from, like, say, within a 60-foot range, so anywhere from here to here, and you are currently hidden from these individuals here. Lucy and Bucket, however, you make a fair bit of noise as you are tromping down, unfortunately, and they are all going to stop croaking to each other, and they are going to turn around and look at you. And as soon as they see you, they're going to start like looking to each other, looking at you, jumping sort of up and down excitedly, and be like, you know, beckoning you over, like these really excited look, and they're pointing to the dais where they are gathered around, like, look. I would like Mm-hmm. No, go
I was
on.
gonna say, Bucket is going to cautiously approach the edge of the pond, but he there,
Okay.
and see if he can see what's on the dais.
Okay.
Amadeus.
On the dais. I fucking love it. So put yourself on the map. Well, I would say that Lucy is sticking close to you just because I'm evil. I mean, I'm kind. And let's
I can't
see.
move because I'm on this.
Oh,
iPad,
yeah.
So I want to move.
So you're going to be right over there.
There.
And I'm going to put you here. Let me just check something real fast.
Oh.
Okay. So you just... Say again?
My mic broke. I'm back.
Oh no! Okay, welcome back.
Yep.
So,
Are they speaking a language at all?
Bucket.
At
Sorry, go ahead.
At the moment, they are not speaking a language you understand.
But are they speaking a language at all? Like, I get that I don't potentially understand it. I have a spell that would make me understand. I'm just trying to, like, are they just croaking, or are they actually speaking?
They might be speaking a language. They're definitely croaking, and there seems to be a certain way in which they're doing it. It could be a language. They're certainly croaking to each other and looking over to Bucket and Lucy, looking over to the dais, and they get really excited as you get to the edge of the water, and one or two of them are actually going to start peeling back a little, and they're just like pointing at the dais,
Bucket is going to pick up Lucy and put her on top of his backpack.
Okay.
He doesn't want her too exposed.
Okay.
And from here, can I see what's on the dais?
Give me, on the dais, give me a investigation check, if you'd be so kind.
Okay. This is +6.
+6. 9, 10,
15.
15. 15's pretty good. On the dais, you see something glinting. There appears to be some kind of... It's like... You can just make out a half-moon shape, something metallic. You're not too sure what the material is for sure. But, yeah. It's like a weird half-moon medallion. You can notice as well, like, a black leather strap. But that's pretty much it. It's almost like a weird moon medallion. But they're all just sort of like, like, again, they're animatedly jumping up and down, pointing at it, pointing at you, and being like, come.
Can I make a religion check?
You can. Please do.
This is +4.
Mm-hmm.
So, 8.
8. There are a couple of deities that are, moon-based. I think there's one called Salune or something. Sounds made up. It's a little Easter egg for anyone still enjoying our Curse of Strahd game. I say our, like I played in it for 6 months. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, there's a few lunar deities. You would have to get closer to... make out any real details. You're not too sure about any moon deities that are devoted to, medallions found in, marshes in the middle of a jungle. Doesn't really ring a bell for you. While this is going on, what are the rest of the group doing? Turcha, you said you were trying to cast a spell to try and understand what the frog people were saying. Is that correct? Or green?
Oh, yes. If they're actually speaking, I guess. I'll cast it anyways.
Sure.
I cast Comprehend Language.
Okay.
like everything. There's no text for it, but
yeah,
it is.
okay. So this counts as so this is a ritual. So it's not. Well, you could actually, yeah, you can do it as an action. That's fine. So vocal shamanic, yeah. So just for the sake of it, just give me a quick stealth check because you're trying to do this while hidden. The DC is not going to be too high. It's just to see if you roll like really low, they might notice you. 13. No, 13's not bad. You cast a spell, and this is what you now hear. You hear these creatures sort of like animated, say, yes, yes, come closer, yes, 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 come to the shiny, yes, come on, stupid metal thing, come closer, that's right, oh yes, come closer.
And if I see Bucket step into the water, and I'll speak up and be like, Bucket, wait.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen if Bucket goes in. Good,
yes.
good. Yes. All right. Rolder, is there anything you're doing while this is going on?
Am I muted?
No, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay. Not really sure what to do, so gonna watch for now. Keep at least, try and keep my dagger at hand just in case something goes wrong.
Okay. And
Taff knows he knows that there's lizard folk in Chult.
Yes.
So he's going to step out to this position here. Slowly. He's going to basically position himself slowly so the grung can see him. And basically he's going to flame on his axes.
Okay, so you are actually stepping forward into full view of the grung.
Yeah, he's putting on an intimidation display, basically.
Okay, roll me an intimidation check. I'll say advantage.
And he's basically going to indicate to Bolt and just put a, you do not touch them. They are mine.
Alright, I got a bounce. My sister's back. Bucket will basically retreat back to the tree line and use ranged fireballs and protect Lucy.
Okay.
Later.
Not a problem. Okay.
Right,
So, since we've got 2 players who were out and about and things are starting to literally heat up, the last thing I will say before we call it for now is, Tertra, you hear the frog people sort of like, hiss each other, say, ah, shit. Oh, no, it's okay. Let him get close. It's fine. Just act all scared. They don't know what's coming. And it is with that we will call things for now. So. Yes, you came back just in time for the ending. Hello. I love you. So, I'm sure everything's going to be absolutely fine and nothing bad is going to happen to our adventurers. But did we enjoy ourselves? It's been literally 6 months since I've been running this game, so there was a lot of stuff that needed to remember there. No idea what happened with the character sheets there, Cream. Very sorry. Also, yeah, I'm just going to jump back to the... It's still on the bathhouse.
It's okay, Devello. It happens. I'm only level 2, so it's not like there's a whole lot on the sheet anyways.
If memory serves, again, this was 6 months ago, it might have been a case that you set up the sheet, but you had your information on somewhere else, like...
yeah, You're right, because I do that a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's see. Yeah, it might be somewhere.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I was thinking maybe we'd do a session 0 or something, but I was like, no, fuck it. Let's just jump right in. Let's just play the game. But
No, I did that with Tahoe.
But yes, any thoughts, any questions, any theories as to what may be going on in the dark and twisted heart of Chult?
I reckon Crazy Druid.
Crazy Druid. It's a theory. But yes, so you guys are still currently level 2. As I said, I'm not that generous yet, but I would say this. There were 2 different branches of narrative that we could have gone with, depending on how your rolls went at the start of the session. Had Tarth been captured, or the group been captured, I basically had a whole thing planned where Tarth was basically going to be dragged before the leaders of the city, and they were going to be like, dude, the fuck? Why are you eating people? And then there would have been a very interesting encounter in a little place called Executioner's Run. But fortunately, you rolled pretty well as a group. You were able to get out of the city fairly easily, and instead we went to the other plot line, which is involving Malar's throat and some of the things that are going on there. And we're very close to finishing that up. Unfortunately, Nicola had to dash. We didn't have our lovely Aja to play Lucy at the time. But I think 3 hours is pretty decent all in all. I hope everybody, enjoyed themselves in spite of technical difficulties. And I will say, like, next week, unfortunately, due to scheduling and everything, we won't be playing on the Thursday. We will, however, be playing on the Friday for the next 2 weeks following this, before jumping back onto Thursday. Because, Lord forbid, we ever get consistent hours in our jobs.
Yep.
But unless anyone else has anything they wish to add, I am going to end the stream there for the evening.
No, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Well, I will say,
Mm-hmm.
I want shepherd's pie. Actual shepherds.
Holy fuck. Yeah, I honestly was amazed that Tarth didn't try and eat that poor elven woman.
He was going to. He was complaining in Draconic about having to have dried meat again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. Be good to yourselves, and hope to catch you again in the future. Be good and be kind. Good night.